Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Well, guys, a quick Earth changes update. I got a couple of things to show you regarding some flooding in China. Just look at this. This is just obviously catastrophic. Wow, that is some intense water coming in. Would not want to be in that area, and that is for sure. And as we see here, cars just being swept away. Just barreling into the buildings, the houses. And the government not reporting anything about it. And as you see here out of the Epic Times, the regime discharged the Daijiang Reservoir without notification, and the water has washed away the city. Heavy downpours in June led to serious flooding in at least 11 provinces, and nothing really being reported on this. They're keeping it quiet, but look at this. The city's underwater. And this is kind of what you get when you have this, totalitarian regime going on. Horrible situation. This adds to everything else that's going on because, obviously it's been one thing after another globally, and there's going to be so many crops, again, being destroyed. The same scenario pushing, ever closer to global famine, unfortunately, that will be setting in. Food shortages, that'll end up being in riots. And, of course, if you have a totalitarian regime that just beats you, then it gets tougher to do things. But eventually the people can up and overthrow governments in time. And in these times, that is what happens. And also, at the same time, also war, as more and more become desperate for resources. So we have a strong and shallow 6-6, and this is in it's just south of the main body of Japan in the Ryukyu Islands. And this one's being reported at a depth of 96 miles. EMSC is reporting it as a 6.7. No tsunami risk, thankfully. And then we have a deep 6-2, and this is the northern Mariana Islands. And this one's deep enough to cause, the possibility of a quake, perhaps even a full magnitude higher, up to like a low 7, 7.2. As this one is 366 miles deep, 590 kilometers deep. And if we look over here, there we go. There's the 6.2. So energy here, it could go up north towards Japan, could also go down towards Indonesia, and I would still be on the lookout even over into Russia and to Alaska on that one. And if we look over here, just to take a peek and see what's going on, we see we still have swarming over in the area west of Tanapa, east of Mono Lake and Mammoth Lakes. And this area right now has 176 of the 462 quakes being reported. And as we had said, the Long Valley Caldera, this is a supervolcano right here. Over time, the way the plate moves, the plume, which is the area that feeds these supervolcanoes, the plate's moving over it. So they change in time. Like if you look at the eruptions of Yellowstone, which Yellowstone is now, you can see right here, Yellowstone National Park. Well, the eruptions that happened from the plume that is now over here, we could trace them back all the way over into Oregon as things move. So when we look also at the Hawaiian Islands, they were created by a plume that made all these islands trailing all the way westward and then sharply going northward. And to me, that looks like maybe a 110-degree bend. So that, to me, looks like good evidence for crustal displacement, for the crust moving and shifting. And when we think about all this, if we're looking at Long Valley Caldera, you got to wonder, since the last eruption, could it be that the plume is under here now with the movement of the plates? Only time will tell. We do see Ridgecrest is active as well still. And we have deadly floods elsewhere. We have them in Pakistan as well, monsoon season. These did cause a landslide that killed one, damaged several homes. And there's video there for you guys to look at. And we do see also some pretty intense flooding, and this is in Nigeria, and this is at a refugee camp of people that are already displaced from various reasons, including, natural disasters, which we have going on. And so the refugee situation globally is most definitely increasing. And, we're going to have people moving from one area to another to escape all the earth changes. New research explains counterclockwise rotation of Victoria Plate in Africa, and it has to do with what's going on in the core of the earth. And as we've talked about, magnetosphere is in decline. It's dropped significantly. A lot more cosmic rays are coming in. They're affecting our DNA, our consciousness. They're also affecting the planet, including the core of the planet. And they're also leading to our magnetic pole reversal, which is going to eventually at some point perhaps manifest yet again in plate movement and motion. And Cindy has gotten the messages that it's a folding type of action, which is very curious. And when we were talking with David Devine, he was really curious about that folding action the other day.
Yeah, like where the earth kind of folds into itself, and then everything that has been down below is going to come up on the surface, and the surface is going to go down below. And that's actually her way, how she cleanses herself.
And Africa itself is actually literally splitting and will eventually be in more than one piece, perhaps 2, 3, or more pieces when the whole process is done. And here we see, talk about fire in the sky, monster thunderstorm sparks unusual massive red sprite burst over Slovakia. As we see these wild sky phenomenons coming down lower and lower in latitude, things that we would only see perhaps up in the Arctic or in Scandinavia. Now we're seeing, in much lower latitudes. And this person's first reaction was, oh my God, pretty spectacular, pretty cool, pretty wild. Almost feels kind of, what would you say? I mean,
well, they look like roots of a tree,
It does. Look at that. As above, so below. Yep. Very, very curious. Amazing shots. Fire in the sky. Signs of the times. Thank you guys so much for your patronage on Patreon and also on Ko-Fi. We couldn't do it without you. Make sure you are subscribed, as some people get unsubscribed somehow. And we thank you guys as always. Be prepared out there. God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.